Well, hello everybody. Today we are going to start Unit 8, which is all about graphing quadratics. And as you're writing the title at the top of your notes, you're probably wondering, what is a quadratic, Smith? Well, here's what's up. Quadratic is just what's next. First semester, we talked about y is equal to 2x. And we should know how to graph that, but I want to review a little bit of stuff. Let's make a table of values. What I mean by a table of values is a t chart or xy chart. xy. And I'm going to have you pick like 2, 1, 0, -1, -2. And if we were to take these values of x and plug them into our original function, 2 times, if x is 2, is 4. And then 2 times 1 would be 2. 2 times 0 is 0. -2, -4. Plugging in the values for x and seeing what comes out. All right, so we made a little table of values by plugging in the value of x. And if we graph this, now we should be able to graph this without our table of values. We should know this is y is equal to mx plus b. And if there's no b, what is here? There should be a plus 0, right? In fact, look, there's the point 0, 0. And our slope, or y-intercept is, our slope is 2, which means rise 2, run 1, up 2, over 1. But look at our table of values. Got the point 2, 4 would be something like that. Got the point 1, 2 would be something like that. 0, 0, we got that. Then we got -1, -2, and then -2, -4. Hopefully, see, this makes a line. Straight line. This is a linear function. We spent a lot of time first semester talking about that. Then the last unit that we just got done with, we talked about exponential functions. Y is equal to 2 to the power of x. We talked about exponential functions. So let's make a table of values for this. X, Y. I don't really expect you to remember exactly what this looks like. Hopefully remember a little bit of what the shape looks like. But again, 2, 1, 0, -1, and -2. If we were to plug these values in for x, 2 to the power of 2 is 4. 2 to the power of 1 is 2. 2 to the power of 0. What is anything to the 0 power? It is 1. What about 2 to the -1? Well, hopefully you remember that would be 2 to the -1, which is negative exponents. We bump it, right? So it would be 1/2. What about 2 to the -2? That would be 2 to the -2 power, which would be 1 over 2 squared, which is the same thing as 1/4. Hey, real quick, what if x was 3? What is 2 to the 3rd? That'll be 8, right? Anyways, let's make a quick little sketch of this. Again, doesn't gotta be perfect, but just kind of a sketch. Ugh, that's not a perfect line for sure, Smith. It's a little better. Anyways, so you got the point 2, 4. Got the point 1, 2. Then we got the point 0, 1. That would be like right there. Then we got -1, 1/2. And then we got -2, 1/4. What about 3? 3 would be all the way up here at 8. So this had like that curve. Remember, it was an exponential growth curve, and it also goes down like that. So it was an exponential function. So we've talked about linear. We've talked about exponential functions. Today, we're starting a new family of graphs, which is called quadratics. Quadratics look like this. It looks like y equals x squared. Right? Look at where the 2 has been in each one of these, right? We had y is equal to 2 times x. Here I got y is equal to 2 to the power of x. Now we're going to start exploring y is equal to x to the power of 2. So once again, let's make a table of values. We got x, y, we got 2, 1, 0, -1, and -2. What is 2 to the power of 2? Well, again, that would be 4. 1 to the power of 2 is 1. What is 0 squared? 0 times 0 is 0. I should be doing these in red. I'm sorry, y'all. Ooh. How about 4, 1, 0? What is, now, negative 1 squared? That means negative 1 times negative 1, which is positive 1. What about negative 2 squared? Negative 2 times negative 2 is positive 4 again. Huh. So negative squared is positive. I wonder what this is going to look like if we graph it. Hey, real quick. Let me go one more. What would be negative 3? What is negative 3 squared? Did y'all get 9? I hope so. All right, so let's graph this. We got the point 2, 4, 1, 1. Got the point 0, 0. Negative 1, 1. Negative 2, 4. Oops. What about negative 3, 9? Ooh, that's way up there. What if it was positive 3? That would also be 9, wouldn't it? So look at this shape. Look at these dots. Now, how would you describe this shape? Now, if you say V, I get it, but here's the thing. It's not a V. This is more like a U, all right? This is more like a U shape. It's going to have a curve that goes up. This isn't a point. This is a curve that goes up like that. So it's more like a U shape. This U shape is called a parabola. And that's what we're going to start learning about in this unit, are parabolas. Quadratics are anything squared. Anything to the second power, that is a quadratic. And anything to the second power is going to make a U shape a parabola. Now, this bottom point, the bottom thing here, this is called, starts with a V. Anybody got a guess? Vertex. Vertex. All right, so that's a little bit about, that's where we're going. We're going to start to learn about quadratics. We're going to go in a lot of different directions. So the first thing I want you to do today is, now I need you to pull out your Chromebook, and I want you to go to a website called Desmos.com, and we are going to graph y equals a times the quantity of x minus h, quantity squared, plus k. All right, and what we are going to do is we're going to investigate, what does a do, what does h do, and what does k do? All right, we're going to use Desmos to help us out with this. So go ahead and pull out your Chromebook. If you need to press pause, go ahead and press pause until you get your Chromebook out, and go to Desmos.com, D-E-S-M-O-S. It should bring you to this page right here. I'm going to hit Start Graphing. Start Graphing, robot. There we go. All right. First thing I want you to do is I want you to go down to this keyboard, press the keyboard thing, and pop that up. And we're going to go back up here into 1, and we're going to type in y equals a parentheses x minus h close parentheses. Now we got to press squared. I don't know if you remember, I said squared. There's a couple ways to do it. You could press a to the b, or you just press this a squared. Oops, I did it twice. Delete it, back up. A to the second power, just to have 1, and then do plus k. So we're putting in all letters. The only number here we got is the squared thing. So here's what's up. We're also going to add sliders. So I want you to press all, and you're going to add the sliders. And look at this. This gives you an opportunity to play. I want you to move these sliders around and pay attention to what happens to the graph. Move those sliders around and see what happens to the graph. Then I want you to go to your notes, and I want you to write down what happens in each case. What happens when you change A? What happens when you change H? And what happens when you change K? Go ahead and press pause and give that a shot. Great! Welcome back. All right, so let's get into it. A. What did A do? Hopefully you saw that A changes which way it opens. Now, however you wrote this is fine, but I'm going to write this in two ways. It changes which way it opens, and what I mean by that is, does it open up or does it open down? But the other thing it did, changed the orientation or the way it opens, and it also changed the shape. Now, we'll talk more about the shape later, but for right now, let's talk about opens. When we talk about which way it opens, what happens if it is positive? Sorry, y'all. Oh my gosh, stop it. It's not even open. Oh, well. What happens if it's positive? All right, I guess we're done. If it's positive, it opens up. In other words, opens up like that. If A is negative, then it opens down. In other words, like that. If A is positive, it opens up. If it's negative, it opens down. Now, this point here, if it opens up, this point is a minimum. But if it opens down, this point is that's a tip-top point, right? That's a tippity-top. That would be a maximum. We'll explore that later. More about that in just a minute. What did H do? H, I hope you saw, it moves the graph left or right. Yeah, it moves the graph left or right. Instead of that, I'm going to do L or right. Now I'm going to put a star by that. And we'll talk about that later. We'll see if we see why I put a star there. But H moves the graph left and right, and K moves the graph up or down. Right? Great. All right. There's one more thing that we got to talk about with these parabolas, and there's another special point. Hold on, sorry. I want to talk about the zeros, solutions, and roots, which are all known as x-intercepts. When we were talking about lines, linear stuff, we talked a lot about y-intercepts, but for this, we are going to talk a lot about x-intercepts. I want you to draw 3 coordinate planes, and we're going to talk about three types of solutions, or 3 numbers of solutions. Let's say I have a parabola that opens up like this. How many times does this graph cross the x-axis? It crosses it twice. Once, twice. This has 2 solutions, or 2 roots, or 2 zeros, or 2 x-intercepts. They all mean the same thing. I know it's confusing, but that's just how it is. A lot of times we have a lot of ways to call something a thing. Let's talk about this one. It opens up. How many times does this cross the x-axis? None. So this has, what does this have? No solutions. This has no solutions. So, what is between 2 solutions and no solutions? Hopefully you recognize that that is one solution. I want you to draw a picture of it. Ready, go. Not solutions. It's not plural, Smith. What would one solution look like? Well, check this out. It would come down. It would hit the x-axis at the vertex and bounce up and continue back up. This has one solution. This has 2 solutions. And this one here has 0 solutions. All right, hopefully you got worksheet 1, or if you don't, go ahead and pass that.